This miracle is a fraud. And if it's not the fraud, and let them give me the proof, let's talk about it as men of God.
I was told to make sure as a son to prophesy attacking ECG.
We're a secular state. Our constitution says we're not concerned with matters of spirituality or religion. So as far as our constitution is concerned, there's no difference between a taxi driver and a preacher.
Present-day Christianity, and for that matter the church, has been in the spotlight over the last 2 decades or more for all the wrong reasons.
Church as we practice it now is not necessarily an African sort of concept which has its practice within the African space. So we are basically arguing the missionaries and the mercenaries. The missionaries become the pastors. The mercenaries become the politicians.
The focal points of the Christian faith, selflessness, love, oneness, amongst many, has been replaced by envy, greed, hatred, jealousy from people who are supposed to bear the marks of Christ and live in his example. This has called into question the kind of faith being practiced in present-day Christianity, in sharp contrast to the biblical faith exhibited by the prophets and the apostles. The question that begs asking is, where did it all go wrong?
And I want to check if really are people jealous lying about the pastor, or is it the truth? This miracle is a fraud. And if it's not the fraud, and let them give me the proof, let's talk about it as men of God.
Is it biblical? On the other end, what are you trying to prove in the midst of demonstrating these things? After demonstrating the power of God, so what?
Doctrine, fame, or money? The scene has been infiltrated by some unimaginable doctrines that seem to have backtracked the religion from its dictates.
The reason I came here is because of the spirit behind and the influence, and always want to prophesy to please our Father. Whenever as a prophet I will see a member of ECG when I'm moving the prophetic, I was told to make sure as a son, and I have to follow instruction. I was told, because I'm the most influenced prophet there, he said to whenever you see a member of ECG, make sure you prophesy to prove that there are prophets there. And also to prophesy attacking ECG.
I felt this desire of planting a church in Pretoria. Yes, at a very young age. I was not married, and I had this faith that I'm gonna start a church in Pretoria in CBD. During that time, I had personal pressure where I thought that by preaching, I will fill the chairs. You know, sometimes you rely too much on your own gift. You think that because you are good in talking or you are good in preaching, that if you preach, every chair in your chair will be filled with people. It was not that, because there were empty chairs. And that's where the problem came. When I started to see other ministry, they've got their own overflow. Every Sunday it's overflow. People are coming in great numbers. But here we are doing what I thought was right, what the Bible college taught. They say you need to fast, you need to live a holy life, you need to make sure that you are focused. Those were all the recipe that I did. But when I look at the result, it was not what I expected.
Not to question the power of God, or who hears from God and who does not hear from God. But some of the miracles performed by the nouveau religious groups have been nothing short of sectorial impunity and lack of decorum for the faith.
Blessed to have this man here. And this woman here.
From resurrections to grass-eating congregants, backstabbing amongst the shepherds, the prophets, pastors, and bishops have left an eerie wake to the present-day ministry spoken of by the Apostle Paul.
I was struggling because I had this spirit of competition. You know, sometimes you allow the enemy to enter you. You want to be the man of the place. You want to be the man of the zone. You want everybody to talk about you. That is where pride came into it sneaked in and I was not aware. I wanted to be bigger than what God has called me for.
We're a secular state. Our constitution says we're not concerned with matters of spirituality or religion. So as far as our constitution is concerned, there's no difference between a taxi driver and a preacher and somebody, except that religion plays itself out in the sacred space of conscience, of the right to worship and the right to associate. You know, and we say that's sacred, as declared by the Constitution.
There's no way you can have government officials walking around restaurants, closing them down, because they don't adhere to health rules. Yet churches are getting away with it.
Are these vulnerable being exploited by these men behind the pulpit? Or the faith of the congregants has reached a crescendo?
It's nice. How does it taste like?
It's sweet.
Is it sweet? Is it nice?
Life.
Rise up! Yes! Come on! Come on! Hey! Hey! Hey!
How we found it, caught it, came by it, we are to learn.